Hey everyone, it's me Alphinaud, and welcome to my Kefka Purple Showcase. Gonna be bringing Alphinaud, Kefka, and Beatrix, no friend support, and Brothers Summon. Now Kefka is a character I've been having a lot of fun with. He is so fun, and I absolutely love his animations that to me he was absolutely worth the purple. Also, no art Kefka. So Kefka's role, I would call him a DPS debuffer hybrid. Mainly his debuffs are really strong, and he does some very nice damage. I believe he deals more damage if an enemy is inflicted with debuffs, so he fills out a DPS debuffer hybrid slot. So Kefka's S1 Kefka's S1 is Trine, and it inflicts 2 turns of HP silence and blind. He increases his brave based on his current brave before doing 4 hits, 4 hit magic AoE and brave HP attack, AoE brave and HP attack with split HP damage. And yeah, his S2 Light of Judgment, I believe it's 4 hits. I could be totally wrong. Yeah, it's 4 hit AoE as well, and it deals split HP damage. It inflicts 5 turns of attack down, defense down, and speed down. So he is going to be dealing some very nice debuffing. His EX skill, Havoc Wing, it is a double HP dump, and it has splash attached to it, and it turns his Meteor into Meteor Plus, which is an HP attack with 50% splash. So overall, Kevin can just dish out damage, and it's very nice. And he's not a bad damage dealer, honestly. Though I personally use him more so for his debuffs. He's also not bad to serve as DPS if you build around the DPS aspect of his kit. Okay, so who would I use Kefka with? I would use Kefka more so with buffers, because he doesn't buff himself very often. He's more self-buff oriented, or debuff inflicting oriented. So Kefka's damage can very well be carried by his debuff potencies. So I would use Kefka more with either defensive buffers if a boss hits hard, or some offensive buffers if you need to hit even harder. So characters like Beatrix, Hope are very good for Kefka. Same with Ramza. I'd even say Lena. Ramza, Lena, Alphinaud, Rosa. All the offensive people, or people that can give some nice boosts to your damage output. Those are all nice to pair with Kefka as well. One thing I forgot to mention, his EX Plus inflicts his EX debuff on the enemies at the beginning of their turn. So it's very nice because his frame debuff has attack down, defense down, and speed down, and it has a sap effect for Kefka. So overall, the enemy just hits so much weaker with Kefka in the party because his debuffs are very potent. Just to put it in perspective, bam, that's not even a 2000 HP attack. So Kefka does jump up in turn order, and so to prevent that, I usually save his Meteor Plus for when he jumps up at the turn order, because it is possible for Kefka to get his next turn right away. His turn rate's pretty high, and because his turn rate's pretty high, having some regen in the party would also be really nice for him. So you're not wasting damage output that much. I would absolutely not pair Kefka with any other debuffers. It's fine to pair him with other debuffers that overlap with his debuffs, so like other attack down debuffers, other speed down, defense down. Those are all fine to pair with Kefka. So like you can still use Hope with Kefka, because Hope has defense down, but so does Kefka, so it doesn't get overwritten. Those are fine to pair with him. Another thing to keep in mind is that Kefka's skills become plus versions if an enemy is inflicted with a debuff. These plus versions of his skills have higher potency and higher overflow. So there's that DPS aspect coming in for Kefka. He deals a lot more damage if an enemy is debuffed. Let's do this. So I have Alphinaud here as my aura buffer and overall just for poison tick memes, because he has Alphinaud here has poison and his own shadow flare buff, and Kefka here has his sap debuff on his EX. So that's 3 poison ticks right away. These enemies are not gonna have any bravery. Yes, I'm 1 debuff over, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful with how I inflict my debuffs. This boss, when the recast ability is up, it will do a brave AoE attack. Do not get broken by it. If you get broken by it, I think the boss will dispel you, but for sure it will do an AoE HP attack afterwards if it breaks someone or hits someone that is broken. So strong defenses help, strong debuffs, hence why Kefka synergy. And there you have it. There's Kefka jumping up in the turn order, so I'm going to use Meteor Plus so I don't waste the damage. So strong defenses, strong debuffs, strong batteries will help you get through this fight much easier. Which is why I have Beatrix here. Beatrix alongside Kefka's debuffs can make the party just take very, very minimal damage. Another thing to keep in mind is that if the boss has HP silence and it breaks someone, it will not do the HP attack because of HP silence. The brave hits will still happen, but the HP damage will not be done. So how low is the boss gonna hit? Triple digits. That is fine. Okay. Let's just use HP plus. And then I'm gonna use Saint Cloth for buffs. Push off some of the debuffs on the party. Okay. The boss is doing an AoE HP attack, so I don't have to worry about it since Kefka has his HP silence up on the boss. Just like that, Alphinaud has pushed all the debuffs on him. He is fine. Kefka is a very, very fabulous choice if you need a debuffer. I think his debuffs are absolutely amazing. I think they're still really good. If you don't need a debuffer, then yeah, you're fine skipping out on Kefka. Really, that's his main utility, in my opinion, is his strong debuffs. So yeah. This is just an AoE HP attack. You don't have to worry about getting broken. It pulls fire. If the boss broke you with that recast ability, it will do pulse fire and it will dispel and it will just mess your day up. I think I use Light of Judgment here. I have to inflict my debuffs very carefully with Alphinaud because when Kefka uses Trine, it inflicts HP silence first and then the blind. So if you have debuff overflow, and your oldest debuffs on the bosses were HP Silence and Blind, then the HP Silence will be the one to get overwritten, and that is no bueno. Of course, Kefka is very good on buff heavy stages, so he's very good on buff heavy stages, so he can push off buffs really easily on the bosses. Unless they have framed buffs make it a lot harder for Kefka to keep his debuffs up. Until his LD and burst, more notably his LD, Kefka's LD weapon turns his buffs, only his debuffs, it turns his debuffs into framed debuffs. Makes him a lot better at sort of being like a pseudo dispeller in a sense. In the sense of that it denies the enemy their bravery. And if you're skipping out on Kefka right now, that is the next time he will be returning his LD and burst. Unless Global decides to do something different for whatever events they have planned. There we go, this is perfect. I'm missing on a defense up from St. Cloth, but we should be fine. Kefka's sap is very potent thanks to synergy. Like my lord. Kefka just got almost 30,000 brave just for doing nothing. There we go. Barely hitting over 1,000. I was going to use St. Cloth, but the recastability was coming up, so with the amount of debuffs it inflicts, it just pushed off the St. Cloth buffs right away, so I decided to save it. There you go. And now we use St. Cloth. Okay, and now we will do Trine. I would use Trine when Kefka's bravery is at about 50%, about half of his bravery, because the battery on his self battery on Trine is based on his current brave. So if his bravery is at 0, Kefka will just get no bravery with Trine, and he'll just do the brave attacks, brave and HP attacks. So for optimal damage, I would use it when he has some bravery, not when he's at cap, because then he'll leak a whole lot. But when he has some bravery, so that's also why regens can help Kefka a whole lot, especially since he can turn jump pretty frequently. Let's do that. This is perfect. Sick Obsidian, that way the boss won't get his turn by fully breaking us. Not like it matters because Kefka's sap is ridiculous. My lord. Okay. He has low bravery, so I'm just going to use Meteor Plus just to build up the damage. And okay, this should just be an AoE HP attack, so I don't have to worry about getting broken. Here we go. Another Obsidian combination. Actually, did that attack break? I don't remember if that attack broke. Maybe it does have brave attacks attached to it. I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind, I believe I said this before. If not, then I said it on a failed run, because I did attempt this a couple times, just to get the commentary right. If the boss has HP silence on when he does his recast ability, and it breaks someone, he will not do the AoE HP attack. Also, there's Kefka jumping up in turns again. So if the boss has HP silence and does the recast ability, he will not do the HP attack. So we have HP silence up, so I'm not worried about getting broken here. There you go, and as you can see, it did not do the AoE HP attack. If I didn't have HP silence here, I pretty much would have been dead. Okay, let's use Meteor Plus. See some very nice shaving, even if the enemy has bravery. Let's use another Saint Cloth to push off some of the debuffs. Okay. Now let's Brave Plus on B. Yep, can't use HP attacks. So we are fine. Also, he gets his plus version of his skills if one enemy has a debuff. So, even if you don't have any debuffs, having one debuff, or even if one enemy doesn't have any debuffs, having one enemy with a debuff, it can be any debuff. It doesn't even have to be his own debuff. He'll get access to his plus skills. Use another Trine. So it's just so he can push through and beat the boss. Man, HP silence is broken. My lord. It's such a broken debuff because of how it works, dude. Beatrix dealing some very nice damage because of the debuffs and because of Alphie's auras. Yep, that's attacking Beatrix. I'm just going to use HP Plus on A. I could use skills to boost up his EX recharge, but I want to get through this without using a single skill. See, even the sword is hitting once. Kefka's debuffs are super, super strong. It is ridiculous. Let's do this. Not gonna use my summon. Or actually, what's the turn requirement? 90. I'm at 77. I'm fine. Not gonna use my summon just because of how strong just to showcase how strong Kefka's DPS and his debuffs are. I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'll do another Trine. I don't think I need to use Trine because I have Beatrix's safeguard skill up here the whole time. Just had no way to use it at all. As you can see, Kefka's Trine ability is absolutely ridiculous. And this should be a wrap. Yep, that's a wrap. There you have it. Showcase of Kefka. Brief overview of Kefka. How he works. How I personally try to use Kefka. Especially since Kefka is a character who I've never built before on JP. So overall, Kefka's a very nice DPS debuffer hybrid. His damage output skyrockets when an enemy is debuffed. He has nice sap to help sustain himself. He has HP silence and blind, so even if it's not an HP attack, there's still a chance where the attack will just miss. Overall, Kefka is a very, very powerful debuffer. If you pair that with some nice defensive buffs, you're just not gonna take any damage. You really don't. Some other nice debuffers are Steiner. I think Steiner's attack down is really, really good. I think Steiner in general is a really interesting kit. I just don't have the ingots to build him. His attack down is very potent. Vincent's is still very nice to use. I know some people. I know some people personally that still use Vincent. His debuffs still hold up real nicely. Liliset's another very strong debuffer. Camelot's nice debuffer for magic attackers. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope this helps you out, and hope you all have fun with Kefka. If you haven't built, because I personally have a lot of fun with him. And that'll be it for me, guys. And bye bye.